Hey guys, tonight we step into the heavy boots of a medieval night where every sunrise promises glory, every sunset threatens disaster, and every shiny piece of armor hides a story. That smells a lot less heroic than the paintings would have you believe. You picture banners snapping in the wind, horses charging across green fields, and crowds cheering as your sword catches the sunlight. It's an exciting fantasy, right up until you remember that you probably won't survive this. Fortunately for both of us, you're only borrowing this life for the night. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're settling in, let me know where you're listening from and what your local time is. It's always fascinating to see how many different corners of the world gather together for these quiet journeys through history. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You open your eyes before dawn. The air is cold enough to sting your face, and the world around you feels strangely silent, except for distant birds and the occasional restless horse. The castle before you isn't the magnificent palace you've imagined from movies. Its gray stone walls seem damp, scarred, and tired, carrying the weight of generations that have fought, celebrated, and died within them. This is your world now. You are not yet the fearless warrior that songs will celebrate. In truth, you're simply another young noble with sore feet, nervous hands, and far too many expectations resting on your shoulders. From childhood, you've heard stories about knights. They always rescue someone. They always defeat impossible enemies. They always ride away looking magnificent. No storyteller spends much time describing the mud stuck inside a knight's boots or the bruises hidden beneath polished armor. Somehow those details never make the songs. Reality begins much earlier than glory. Long before anyone trusts you with a sword, people are already deciding your future. In medieval Europe, many noble boys began preparing for knighthood around the age of 7. Instead of enjoying carefree childhoods, they entered another lord's household to begin years of training. Imagine being barely old enough to understand the world, yet already expected to behave like a tiny adult. You leave behind your family. You learn unfamiliar rules. Every mistake earns criticism. Every success simply means tomorrow's expectations become even higher. Scholars still argue whether medieval children accepted this life naturally because it was normal for the time, or whether many silently struggled with leaving home at such young ages. Their voices rarely survive in written records, leaving historians to piece together scattered clues. As morning light slowly spreads across the castle yard, servants are already working. Water is carried. Bread is baked. Horses are brushed. Nobody wastes time. The medieval world runs on labor, and everyone has a role. You quickly discover that being important, connected to knighthood, it mostly means people expect more from you. You bow correctly. You speak carefully. You memorize names. You learn when to remain completely silent. Sometimes, surviving the day has less to do with courage than with knowing exactly when not to say anything at all. The castle itself feels alive. Its walls echo with footsteps. Smoke drifts through narrow hallways from enormous kitchens. Candles flicker in rooms that never seem completely warm. Outside, blacksmiths strike glowing metal with rhythmic precision, every hammer blow reminding you that war is never very far away. Ironically, despite the castle's impressive appearance, comfort is surprisingly rare. Stone buildings trap cold remarkably well. Fireplaces help, but only so much. Even wealthy nobles often complain about freezing winters. Heavy blankets become treasured possessions. Warm soup can feel like a luxury. Modern central heating would probably seem like pure magic. Breakfast arrives. It's simpler than you'd imagined. Fresh bread if you're lucky. Porridge, cheese, perhaps some ale or weak beer. Because clean drinking water isn't always dependable. That last detail surprises many people today. Medieval beer often contained very little alcohol and was commonly consumed because the brewing process could make it safer than untreated water in many places. History has a funny way of challenging assumptions. The glamorous age of castles often smells like smoke, livestock, damp clothes, and yesterday's dinner. Not exactly the romantic postcard version. Still, something about the place fills you with quiet determination. Every experienced knight you see once stood exactly where you stand now. watching, learning, wondering whether they truly belong. Across the training yard, an older knight walks slowly between young students. His armor carries scratches rather than decorations. His face carries scars rather than smiles. Nobody laughs when he speaks. Respect follows him naturally. Not because he's loud, because everyone knows he's survived things they cannot imagine. That's another truth rarely mentioned in heroic legends. Experience is written onto the body. Every scar tells a story. Every missing tooth remembers a battle. Every stiff movement whispers about injuries that never completely healed. You begin realizing that knighthood isn't really about becoming fearless. It's about learning how to keep moving despite fear. A stable boy nearby quietly points toward a magnificent horse. The animal is enormous, muscular, and surprisingly calm. Its equipment looks expensive enough to buy an entire village's yearly harvest. The boy jokes that if both you and the horse fall into a river, people might rescue the horse first. Everyone laughs. Oddly enough, nobody says he's wrong. You'll understand why soon enough. For now, you simply stand beneath the towering castle walls as morning. Sunlight slowly reaches the highest battlements. The dream of becoming a knight still shines brightly in your imagination, but tiny cracks are beginning to appear. Behind every polished helmet lies exhaustion. Behind every victory lies sacrifice. Behind every legend stands an ordinary human being trying not to make one fatal mistake. And this is only your first morning. The hardest lessons haven't even begun. Word count 1079.